Now you can imagine the TEDx committee, TEDxGreenville committee sitting around saying, we need to come up with something really cool. Someone says, how about like a rocket scientist? Could we have a rocket scientist? I said, that'd be kind of cool. But, we need it. How about, it's all about diversity, so, how about a rocket scientist that actually knows something about some of the new technologies like social media and video and all that kind of stuff? And I said, well, that's pretty good. And then, I had to toss out, I said, but wait a second. That's kind of like what I was thinking, but how come we couldn't do someone who was a rocket scientist and they knew all about all this new media and the video and all that stuff, and also had been a professional matchmaker in college? The only person we could find was Mary Spio.
Thank you all very much for being here. I'm very, very excited to be here and part of this wonderful event. It's interesting to know that in the 15 minutes that I'm up here, about 250 million emails will be sent. About 300 hours of video will be uploaded to YouTube, and about 10 people will propose online. And yet, this is only a snapshot of what is happening today. The web has created a new world where anyone basically can change the world and how we live. And this is not slowing down. And the question is, are we ready? We've gone from 3 networks, ABC, NBC, and CBS, feeding 100% of all households, to where we are today with some 30 billion videos being viewed online monthly, some 187 million domain names that are registered, and each of those, for all intents and purposes, are their own networks because they feed us information and they feed us news. Today, anyone can create a video or create content, and it goes out to the rest of the world. One of the top videos on YouTube, actually, with 173 million views, is Charlie Bit My Finger. 173 million views. I have a feeling with that level of exposure, we'll probably see the sequel soon, Charlie Bites Again and Again. So gone are the days of being forced into cookie-cutter tastes, news, drama, or comedy by the networks. Today, anyone can have whatever they want and lots of it. You can find everything from breaking news all the way to how to floss your dog and how to floss it safely. So whatever you're looking for, you're able to find online. This media evolution has had such an enormous impact on how we live, how we play, and also how we connect with each other. It is tremendous. It touches the far reaches of our planet, and it has helped grow and connect it exponentially. I think that in order to understand why all of this stuff fascinates me, you must first understand how media has impacted my own life and how what is happening echoes a metaphor in my own life for all media. I grew up in Africa. We didn't have much. What we had was a little red television. It was a small television set. It was actually a black and white set, which came on at 6 p.m. in the evening and went off at midnight with the playing of the national anthem. We didn't have American Idol or Dancing with the Stars or any of that. It was just one single channel that came on. And the year was about 81. The new government had come to power by coup d'etat. There was a lot of craziness going on. People I knew were getting shot to death in fire squad. There were soldiers running around in the streets with guns. There was a curfew where you couldn't go out after 6 p.m. And yet, on this little red box, you could escape. Night after night, we will gather around this little red box, and we could escape, and you wouldn't know what was going on in the rest of the world. This really is what got the fires burning inside of me, the fires of hope inside of me. Soon I developed the urgency to find out more about the life that I had seen inside this little red box. So when I turned 16, I begged my parents to send me to America in search of this life. I actually came here in, it was September of September 29th, 1989 is when I got here. I arrived at the Charlotte International Airport. It was late at night, and to me, it just looked like I was in Las Vegas at that time. It was incredible. I truly understand what the first man in space, Yuri Gagarin, when he said, "I see the Earth and it is beautiful." That is how I truly felt seeing the lights and being here, and this was just in Charlotte. The people that I lived with, they were folks in their 80s, and they were not feeling well. And so they wanted me to go back after high school. I had spent a year here, and they wanted me to go back. There was absolutely no way I was going back. So I picked up my stuff, and I went up to New York. And when I got there, I got a job at the McDonald's, working at the Fulton Street, Brooklyn McDonald's. I started on fries and soon made my way to the cashier. But something, each day that passed, I ached for more. I wanted to do more. I wanted more, not just for myself, but for the people that had taken a chance on me, the people that had sent me here, and others that lived back home the way that I did. And one day I heard this commercial that said, "We do more by 5 a.m. than most people do in their lifetime." It was a commercial for the Army. So I went down to the Army recruiter's office to join the Army. I ended up joining the Air Force. The Air Force recruiter was much cuter. So that's how I ended up in the Air Force. It was in the Air Force that I actually learned the inner workings of media. I worked as a satellite technician, setting up communication in different places before the troops would come in. So we would set up television, radio, and any other means of sending data. It gave me the inner workings of media. From there, I went back to college and studied engineering with a focus in deep space science. My early jobs right after college included designing and creating and designing satellites. I got a chance to work on orbital design for Iridium, which is a 77 satellite constellation. I also had a chance to work on SETI, which is a search for extraterrestrial intelligence, sending heat probes out to space in search of intelligent life forms. I had no luck. I didn't find anything. I was actually hoping I would find a group such as this in space, maybe the TED Intergalactic. But I did not find anything. And then I also worked with PanAmSat, which is a company that helps big media companies deliver information, to the masses. I worked with everyone from ABC to Disney to Showtime. And then the Boeing company came calling. I was hand-selected to work with 2 other engineers to create what is now digital cinema, which is the digital delivery of movies to theaters. And I believe that this massive accomplishment, digital cinema, is what really secured my view at the front of what was happening with media, because it showed me this enormous growth, which also paralleled the trajectory in my own life. And all these opportunities was just a matter of how media was evolving and how media was growing. When we look at all of this, what is happening now, you look at stuff like the iPhone, and you look at stuff like YouTube, you look at stuff like MySpace and other things, well, not quite MySpace, but YouTube, Facebook, and some others, and iTunes, and the way it's eroding the notion of the record store. Everywhere you look, with Blockbuster closing, and by the end of the year, most Blockbusters, about 25% of the Blockbusters will be gone, and I really don't believe that Blockbuster is really going to be around for much longer. But these tremendous things that are impacting our lives were not around very long ago. So the way, we are in the midst of something seismic when you think about all of this stuff. And you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure that one out. I just happen to be one. So the way I look at it, if the web was, another example is the journey of our President Barack Obama into the White House, and the way he used the web to mobilize, to raise funds, and then also to make his way into the White House. It's a great example of how of the power of the web when used properly. The way I look at all of this, if the web was born in the 90s, then in terms of its capabilities, it's still a toddler. It's just learning to walk, to run, and even do cartwheels. It is going to have enormous capabilities that we have not even imagined yet. So what is next? What can we expect in the next 5 years? Who gets to set the standards of how we transmit and receive media? I believe the answer to that is in a story that I heard once about a little boy in his kindergarten class. He was drawing a picture, and his teacher asked him what he was doing, and he said, "I'm drawing a picture of God." And his teacher kind of laughed and said, "But no one knows what he looks like." And his innocence, he looks up and says, "They will when I'm done with my picture." So, we all get to define, we all get to create that future today. We all have access to the tools to create that future. Today, you are the me in media. You have a chance to define the place, the ways, and the time in which media is transmitted and the way in which it is absorbed. So what picture are you going to paint for the world? What is going to be revealed in your picture? 5% of the global electricity powers the web. How are we going to illuminate the rest of the world? And most importantly, how are you going to influence the life of that little girl, maybe 5 miles away, maybe 10,000 miles away, now on her little red box? I want to thank you all very much for allowing me to download my ideas the old-fashioned way in person. Thank you.